Hi, I'm Lex and welcome to my channel. So I wanted to do a video today that covers quite a few different things really. I actually made some notes on my phone so I don't forget anything. So I wanted to have kind of an open conversation about my weight gain, talk about the reasons why I gained weight, and I'm not saying they're using them as excuses, but just the reasons that led to me gaining weight. I feel like this video is a way to keep myself accountable as well, especially with what I want to do going forward. I wanted something creative to do, especially in lockdown, that'll help keep me focused, and hopefully it'll help somebody else as well if anyone else is in a similar position or a similar situation to what I'm in. So before I get started, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you. I've got a coffee. I got the cafe latte iced coffee, is the skinny one. It's like 126 calories, so I count it as healthy. Anyway, I put it in the milk frother on cold and it's came out like, I feel like it's too bright. There we go, like a lovely frothy yum. As I said, I've made some notes on my phone as well, so I'm going to kind of go through them because I didn't want to miss anything. This is the third time I filmed the video. One time I was like doing my makeup and I got really distracted and I couldn't concentrate, and another time I feel like I didn't make any notes and I rushed it and I missed loads of stuff out. If there's anything else that you'd want to know or want me to go into more detail about, then please let me know. Also, I got a new phone case. So I just wanted to give a bit of a backstory about my swimming world journey and kind of what things led up to where I am now. So I originally joined Swimming World in April of 2014. I joined for a few reasons. One, I wanted to lose weight. I'd pretty much tried everything to lose weight. None of the ways I tried previously were sustainable for me. So I went to one of my friend's houses and she told me she was joining Swimming World. I said, well, can I come with you? She obviously said yes and we went together. I was quite nervous to join because I felt like I was really unhappy with the way I looked, but if I tried this last thing and it failed, then there isn't anything after that. Like, what would I then do to lose weight, because nothing else had worked. So I think for quite a while I like sabotaged myself. So after that I moved to Leeds from Middlesbrough in 2016. So between joining in 2014 and moving to Leeds in 2016, gradually lost 2 stone. I had the most significant weight loss, I suppose. And I think that was for a number of reasons. One of the reasons was when I moved here, I didn't know like a ton of people, so I really focused on myself. So for that year, I was going to the gym around 5 times a week. I don't think the exercise particularly helped me lose weight because the exercise that I was doing, I wouldn't say was very effective. I don't think I was putting enough effort into it, but what it did do was it really helped my mental health. It made me feel really good. So in turn, I then ate healthier and I joined Swimming World in this like new area of Leeds. My consultant was called Sarah and she's a consultant in Yeadon and she's amazing. So if you're watching this and you live in Yeadon, you need to go to her group. So when I first started Swimming World, I was size 22 to sometimes 24 because I was always big chested, big arms, like wide hips, and I got to my target and I was a size 10 to a 12. There was a lot of like ups and downs along the way. There was times where I would regain weight when like, things were going on in my life that were emotional for me, and I think I had a lot of learning to do around not like emotional eating, as I used to say as a consultant, like eating for your senses. So because something like looks nice, smells nice, tastes nice, sounds nice. But I got to my target anyway. I was really happy about getting to my target, obviously. I maintained my target for about 2 years. So after being at Target for about a year, I got skin removal surgery on my arm. It's called a brachioplasty. It's something that I always knew I wanted very early on in my weight loss journey because my arms were always a problem area for me. When I was down to being a size 10 to a 12, I would have to buy either bigger sizes or stretchy tops or sleeveless and then wear a jacket because my arms wouldn't fit into clothes, and that's what bothered me the most. So I always knew from kind of the get-go that my arms were something that I would want to get the skin removed on. So I got the skin removal surgery and then kind of for the rest of that year living my best life. I was on a hen do for one of my best friends in the February or the January. I have no idea. But anyway, I went to Tenerife. Never been to Tenerife before. I used to hate going to hot countries because I was always bigger, so I felt really uncomfortable. I'd always want to cover up. Total side story, I remember once going to Barcelona. We were on the beach. It was hot. It was so hot. We went in like June, like it was red hot. And I was in a floor-length maxi dress that was black. And then a kimono that was like full-sleeved black. And I wouldn't go in the water. So like the 3 people I were with were if my parents listen to this and hear what I've just said, the 3 people I was with in my Middlesbrough accent, they were like in and out the water, living the best life, and I sat there with a face like I just was so unhappy because I was so uncomfortable, I was so hot, I was so sweaty, I was so envious because I wanted to be doing that. So yeah, I vividly remember like going to Tenerife and just being like, oh my god, I can wear a crop top. Like, I can wear a strappy top. And like, that's not to say that I did have to wear them before. I just wasn't confident enough not to wear them, if that makes sense. And then in August of 2019, I became a swimming world consultant. So that's just a bit of background, what things were going on like while I was at Target. And then that's when it went down. I started to struggle more once I was a Slimming World consultant. I can't pronounce Slimming World. I mumble it so it's easier to say because I'm lazy. So I'm like Slimming World, like Slimming World. Once I became a consultant, my experience completely changed. So I became a consultant of the group that I was at as a member. So I couldn't go to that group anymore. I didn't feel like I wanted to spend any more time doing Slimming World because I was working full time. Did after a few months drop my hours down to 30 hours a week. So I wasn't full time, but I was still doing a lot of hours. So from going from working full time, even then to 30 hours a week, and then working with brands as well on Instagram, which I absolutely love. It's like one of my favourite things ever. Doing that and then doing Slimming World as well, it was very time consuming. So I didn't really want to spend another evening going to Slimming World as a member. It also changes the dynamic. I just associated Slimming World then with work, and you don't always like every aspect of your job, but then because there was aspects of it that I didn't like, I then kind of like rebelled against Slimming World as a whole, I suppose. And that's when I started to become less interested in making sure I was aware of what I was consuming. It spoiled the magic of being a member for me, being a consultant. So then I fell pregnant. Anyway, so I fell pregnant in September of 2019. I was okay for my first quite a few weeks of pregnancy actually. I rejoined Slimming World as a member and I went to a group that was at the other side of Leeds, and no one else knew I was a consultant because it was in a different area to me. So everyone treated me like a member, the consultant treated me like a member. A consultant was chef's kiss. Honestly, amazing consultant. And I always left feeling motivated. And the first, I said, few weeks before I went on holiday in my early stages of pregnancy, I knocked it out of the park. I ended up getting back to £2 above my target before I went on my holiday, and I went on holiday when I was 6-ish weeks pregnant, so I was feeling really good. We went travelling around Australia. I started, dropped my phone, and I had the worst nausea, and it was rough. I had a lot of apple juice and I had a lot of food because we were on holiday. So I put 1 stone 2 pound on. I remember specifically when I got weighed after. And do you know what I remember? Because I put 1 stone 2 pound on. I think my pants either like lost 1.5 pounds or like 1.5 pounds on. And I was like, how with it same? And he was like, oh, but you're pregnant. And I was like, I'm not that far along pregnant that we can blame it on the baby just yet. So then after that, it was a Miss Rona. And that just completely knocked me for six. I think one of the biggest things when you have some sort of, I don't want to call it a food addiction, but like intense food cravings. I'm not saying people don't suffer from food addictions, but for me it was more of like just a really intense food craving. I used to always have to kind of plan for things in advance. If I knew I was going to a restaurant, I'd decide what I was having before I go there. Like I'd always have a plan in place to help protect my weight loss, my motivation, because I am someone that can put away a lot of food. So you basically end up having all these plans that you put in place to help protect your weight loss. There's no plan that you can put in place for a global pandemic. And obviously I was pregnant at the time, and up until that point, I was still wearing size 10 maternity leggings. So I fell pregnant in September, and we went into lockdown at the end of February. So between September to February, I was still in my size 10s. I wasn't maybe as healthy as I wanted to be, but there definitely wasn't a cycle of overeating. And then, yeah, lockdown. So I spent the remainder of my pregnancy in lockdown. So I gave birth in June. I didn't leave my house like most people didn't. I didn't go out anywhere. So yeah, I went from kind of living quite an active lifestyle where I was being a consultant and I was working, I was exercising, I was out and about and blah, 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 to just not doing anything. And we weren't living in our house at the time because we were getting a full renovation. We moved in with my partner's mum, which is obviously very kind of her to let us live there. But obviously you don't have your stuff around necessarily because we put it all in storage, and then we couldn't really access it because we were in lockdown. I wasn't around my own stuff, and I just started to just eat like it was going out of fashion, basically. One thing my friend said to me was about lockdown and eating, it's like you relearn bad habits, and you do, it's so true. You don't crave things that you just never really have because you've lost the taste of it, I suppose. So like I'd never have biscuits, or I'd never sit and eat McDonald's. Like before, I just wouldn't do those things. They weren't part of my day-to-day routine. They were kind of planned indulgence as a one-off, and they were never part of my normal everyday life. And then Bourbon biscuits became part of my normal everyday life. Ordering waffles became part of my normal everyday life. And that, on top of being pregnant and not exercising, it was a very, very, very slippery slope, you know. So I started eating all foods that were triggering for me and my overeating. One of the reasons why I chose to eat those things is I felt so negative about everything else that was going on. In those days, one of the only things that made me happy was food, and eating the food and enjoying the food in that moment. But like I've gained like 7 stone in total from my lightest weight, which is, you know, a hard it's a hard pill to swallow. But again, I want to kind of say it out loud because I don't want to be embarrassed about it. I want to do something about it, but I don't want to hate my body and hate the way I look and hate everything about the weight gain when I've got my daughter out of it, and it is in my power to change it. So the biggest thing I learned from the first time I done Slimming World and I'd lost all the weight that I did was that I never enjoyed the journey. I always wanted to be slimmer, and even when I got to my slimmest, I wanted to lose 2 stone. And I look at those photos now and I just think, where are you losing it from? I'm naturally a curvy person. I don't have a petite frame, so I learnt to embrace my curves. So I'm going to try and enjoy the journey more now. Fingers crossed, hopefully. So yeah, after I had Sophie, the weight gain continued. I was just eating a lot more because I was tired. I just wasn't in a great routine. And then this is where I am now, and I am doing something about it. One of the biggest changes as well is I quit being a Slimming World consultant. I'm glad to kind of just close that chapter and just leave it where it is. So that being said, going forward now, will I be doing Slimming World? How do I feel about it? I think I'll always subconsciously do Slimming World. Whether or not I attend a group, I do it at home. I'm always aware of the basic principles of it. Whether or not I'll be an active member or not, I'm just not sure yet. I've also worked out as well that I can get to target this year if I'm consistent. If I lose an average 2.5 pounds a week, I can get to my target this year. So I'm not thinking about, you know, I need to lose X amount of weight. I'm just thinking, you know, if I lose around approximately, and I feel like that's a realistic amount. And I also think, you know, even if I didn't get there this year, if I have that plan, it would be the start of next year if I didn't manage to do it this year. But I feel like I can do it this year. So yeah, I'm not thinking like I want to lose the most weight every single week. I want to lose £5, £6, £10. I mean, I'd love that, but I'm thinking of it more as if I lose 2.5 pounds, I'm right on track. If I lose a bit more, even better. And then that'll also compensate for the weeks where I don't lose quite as much weight. So I'm going to be posting on here to help keep me accountable. When I first started my Instagram account, I posted photos of my food every day, and it was like a virtual food diary for me. I love posting food pictures, and my Instagram is predominantly food related, but I also like posting other things as well. And whereas previously I would post everything I ate, every meal, every day, and I do work with brands on there as well, which is so exciting. So I do like my Instagram to be a bit more versatile and kind of have a true reflection of my life as a whole, rather than just what I'm eating. So I'd like to post on here of recipes I've been making, what I've been eating. Hopefully it'll be interesting for people to watch, but if not, it'll definitely keep me accountable more than anything, and that's what I'm doing it for. I want a creative outlet to keep me accountable for losing weight, and Instagram did that the first time around for me, but I feel like my thoughts around that have shifted a bit. So I feel like this is a nice new fresh way to keep me motivated and inspired to lose weight. And the main thing is I want to stop being miserable about my weight. I feel like you can be body positive, you can be happy, but you can also want to change as well and grow as a person. And for me, I really need to work on my relationship with food and work on my health, which I think in turn will help my happiness. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. If you want me to go into detail or into more detail about anything that I touched on or anything else, let me know. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching if you've got all the way through, listening to me chit chat away. So yeah, I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye.